Hey guys, welcome back to another awesome heavy mining equipment journey. In this video, we're taking you on a ride through our copper and gold mine. So, buckle up, grab a cold one, because this ride's gonna get real bumpy. Alright, it's the start of the night shift, and the truck we're riding in is an XCMG XDE260, straight out of China. But we'll talk more about that beast later in the video. So yeah, night shift's kicking off, and before we get to work, the truck's got to be taken to the workshop for the daily inspection. That means checking the suspension, fluids, brakes, basically making sure everything's good to go before we hit the haul roads. You really see how massive that engine deck is once you climb up there. But all right, let's check out the inside of the cab. The cab is spacious and comfortable for two people, nicely equipped, and gives both the driver and the passenger a clear, open view. It's got a nice-looking customizable digital dash, a cool infotainment system, and cameras on all four sides of the truck so every angle is covered. There's also a GPS system that tells the driver exactly which excavator to go to and which haul route to take. All in all, the cab is built for a smooth, comfortable ride. So, like I said earlier, the truck has to go in for inspection before any work starts. And getting into the workshop can be a little tricky for inexperienced drivers. Luckily, the guy next to me is an experienced and skilled driver, so getting inside isn't a big deal for him. Honestly, this is just a routine job for him. You always got to keep your eyes on this guy when you're driving into the workshop. For the Belaz trucks you see up front, getting inside is way easier because they're smaller. But this giant right here is a real challenge. You'll see in a moment just how close it gets. We're talking inches. And that was nice and smooth. Now, you're gonna see just how wide and how tall this truck actually is. Just barely enough to squeeze through the workshop entrance. You see? You see how easy it is for the Belaz to get inside? All right, now that everything's checked, it's time to roll out. But before that, we gotta do what? Fill up the fuel tank. So, let's go. If you're wondering what that big sphere-looking thing is, well, that's a large stockpile. That's where the ore is stored before it gets sent over to the filtration plant through the conveyor belt. And we're actually going to be dumping into that crusher, the one that sends the ore straight over to that big sphere. But first, we gotta go fuel up. Once again, nice and smooth. This time we're not taking too much fuel since it already has about 2/3 in the tank. There's roughly 1,800 liters of fuel in it right now, so we set the pump exactly to 2,700, and the full tank capacity is 4,500 liters. And that's pretty much it. More than enough to get us through the night shift. Now, let's go to work. This building right here, the one I mentioned earlier, that's the primary crusher, and that's where we'll be dumping the ore. From there, the ore gets crushed down and sent by conveyor into that big sphere we passed a moment ago. And from there, it continues on toward the filtration plant. All right, let's go pick up some ore. While we're driving to the excavator, it wouldn't be fair not to say a little more about this truck. So, the truck I'm riding in is the XCMG XDE260, a popular model from a well-known Chinese manufacturer. This truck falls into the medium-class mining haul truck category, with a payload of up to 260 tons. However, XCMG also builds ultra-class trucks, with capacities up to 400 tons, like the XDE440. The XDE260 is built like a tank, a heavy-duty, high-capacity mining haul truck made for medium and big open-pit mines. This thing's designed to take a beating, climb steep grades, and run non-stop through a full shift. With a tough frame, long travel suspension, and solid stability, it's made to keep pushing even when the ground gets rough. And size-wise? Man, this thing is a straight-up giant. Around 48.5 feet long, almost 30 feet wide, and close to 24.5 feet tall. Top speed is about 40 miles an hour, which is pretty damn good for something this massive. The fuel tank holds around 4,500 liters, roughly 1,200 gallons. So yeah, it drinks plenty. Under the hood, it's running an MTU 16V 4000 C23R, a huge 16-cylinder V-type water-cooled twin-turbo diesel engine with a 76-liter displacement. This bad boy makes around 2,500 horsepower at 1,800 RPM, and it throws down about 11,868 Newton meters of torque at 1,500 RPM. In other words, a straight beast, built to haul full loads up steep grades without even sweating it. On the market, the XDE260 goes head-to-head with some heavy hitters: the Liebherr T264, the Cat 793F, the Terex NTE240, which is actually right in front of us, and you'll see it later in this ride, a lot, and the Komatsu 830E1. And the XDE260 actually has something in common with the Komatsu 830E1. If you know what it is, let me know down in the comments. And if you ever feel like owning one of these workhorses, you're gonna have to drop around $3 million. All in all, this truck is big, tough, and ready for the toughest challenges out there. Right in front of us is that notorious S-turn. And man, let me tell you, this thing is designed like crap. When it rains, trucks can barely make it up. With those 2 sharp turns and a non-stop steep climb, this spot is a straight-up nightmare to maintain. And when it's wet, trucks slide around like they're on freaking ice. But hey, it is what it is. After all, this is a mine. This is our stop, the Komatsu PC 4000, one of the most popular mid-size mining face shovels out there. This beast is built to chew through hard rock, load massive trucks, and keep the mine running non-stop. The PC 4000 is powered by a serious engine, pushing around 2,000 horsepower at 1,800 RPM. The whole machine weighs roughly 400 metric tons, which is about 880,000 pounds of pure mining muscle. Up front, the shovel bucket takes about 22 cubic meters, or around 29 cubic yards, depending on material density. Size-wise, this thing is a monster, tall like a building, long like a house, and wide enough to make haul trucks look small when it swings over them. One cool thing about the PC 4000 is that it comes in both diesel and electric versions. Mines that want lower fuel costs or cleaner operation usually go with the electric face shovel, just like this one that's about to load us up. And when it comes to competitors, the PC 4000 goes up against some serious heavy hitters. The Cat 6040 FS, the Liebherr R9400 G6, and the Hitachi EX 3600-7. All of them sit in the same class and are built for big league digging. All right, now that we've picked up the load, it's time to head back up. We're going straight to the crusher. And once again, the infamous S-turn. But this time, we're hitting it from the bottom going up. This area we're driving through right now used to have a bridge, and a river once flowed through here, heading left toward the collector. But more than 2 years ago, that collector failed because of a massive surge of water after heavy rains, and this whole section got completely flooded. What happened afterward was a straight-up disaster, and what the company leadership did next will leave you speechless. You can check all of that out in the video linked in the top right corner. And we're slowly getting closer to our final destination, the crusher. From here, you can clearly see the whole journey the ore takes. Like I said earlier, the ore gets dumped right here into the crusher. Then it travels up the conveyors into that big sphere where the large stockpile sits. From there, it moves up to that big building on the hill. That's the filtration plant. After that, it goes on to the smelter, then the casting plant, and so on. So we're gonna get in line for dumping, and then I'll hop out of the truck so I can show you up close how the dumping process works at the crusher. And here we are at the end of our journey. In total, it took us about an hour, from the workshop to the excavator and from the excavator all the way to the crusher. Since we're already here, let's talk a bit more about this crusher. This is an Alice Chalmers gyratory cone crusher from a well-known American manufacturer with a capacity of up to 3,000 tons of ore per hour. Right now it's running at a reduced rate, so the trucks dump with short pauses. And if you want to see what's hiding under this hungry beast, you can check it out by clicking the link in the top right corner. Trust me, you're going to be amazed. Well guys, thanks for sticking with us till the end of this little journey. We tried to show you what it's like to drive this giant and how a night shift run looks from the excavator all the way to the crusher. If you enjoyed the video, you know what to do. Likes and subs are always appreciated. And let me know in the comments if you'd like to see how all of this looks during the day. I'm pretty sure the landscape would be incredible. Until the next one, stay safe out there.